Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. Today we are in Luzerne County, just north of Nanticoke, Pennsylvania, exploring Pinchot State Forest. The section we are in, or the trail rather, is a trail through some old coal mining country up to a location known as Tilbury Knob. Never been here before, not quite sure what to expect, but the map does show some old mining operations and we're excited to explore that, so stick with us. We are in for some adventure. The trail started out in the woods to the right, and then for about the last quarter mile we've been traveling up this power line cut. And as you can see, the grass isn't particularly high, but in this last quarter mile, we've picked 7 ticks off of our pants, and actually can see the 8th vile creature right here making its way up my leg. So just be prepared. Glad I chose to wear long pants today, even though it is quite warm. But be prepared. We're gonna get rid of this guy. Yeah, there he is. Peace out. But be prepared when you come here to be very careful checking for ticks. So we're about to head off on this side trail back into the woods. So hopefully the ticks will abate some, because we just started this adventure and we have many more miles ahead of us. Hopefully we'll see cooler things than just ticks. So stick with us on the Tilbury Trail. Here's a strange structure on the trail. I'm not going to pretend to know what this is, so I'm hoping someone can post in the comments what they think it is. But there are these massive pipes that seem to go down the side of the gorge, and they come out from the bottom of this white structure. And there's something here, some kind of concrete structures. I don't know what this would have been for. And then there's a basement area. Let's go take a look inside. Sand all over the floor for some reason. I'm not sure how structurally sound this is. We'll be very cautious. Let me see if we can turn on some light. There we go. 2, I don't know what these would have been for. 2 gears with a crank handle and a screw at the top. There's a handle chained up. It says something. Searing Brook. Yeah, I can't make out what this says. But maybe one of you viewers know what we're looking at. There's the ceiling. Seems pretty well intact. Some kind of box on the wall. What would that have been? A phone or a telegraph? Looks like some electrical contacts up here. Interesting. Let's see if we can make it down below. It looks dicey. Let me pause it and see if I can climb down safely. Okay, here we are beneath the structure. Looks disgusting and wet down there. Okay, so now we know what those devices above were with the crank handles. There's the screw going down, and here is the valve. So these were to raise and lower the valves. There's an open valve right there. But what would this have been for? And yeah, you can see the pipe back in there. And then here's a large pipe. Okay, so I'm hoping one of our viewers can enlighten us as to what this building would have been for and what these pipes would have been used for. Interesting find nonetheless. And of course we'll mark the coordinates on the map at hemlockstateexplorer.com. All right, so the plot thickens. We are walking on something concrete, and there were some brick behind us, and right here is the pipe that presumably runs along this old grade back to the valve house, and we see some stacked stonework up ahead, and now we're on like a concrete retaining wall. So the best, I guess, what would this have been? Would this have filled with water and it was used for transportation? Maybe this was some kind of mountain canal. And this even is more interesting. Look at this. There's like a dam face right here. What would this have been? So did that valve house control the fluid level in this, what I'm guessing might be a canal or some sort of transportation system? This is really strange. So help us out and post in the comments below what you think this might have been. On the map, this feature is referred to as Aqueduct Falls, hence solving the mystery of what that structure has been running alongside of the mountain. And we're standing on something of a spillway right now, as you see it flowing down the mountain. Okay, so we put two and two together and figured out what this is, but I still have questions. Why is there an aqueduct on the mountain? Where's the water coming from? Where is it going? For what purpose? Especially since we have Harvey's Creek flowing down through the ravine below. So many questions. Let's do some research and find some answers. I'm sure there's fascinating history behind it, and that's one of the things I love about exploring our area, is you can spend years exploring Pennsylvania out in the woods and still find something new. I have to confess, I have never seen an aqueduct on a mountain before. Well, let's continue on this adventure. It looks like the aqueduct still is running along the contour of the mountain here. Let's see if we can uncover what is the aqueduct on the Tilbury Trail. This trail just keeps getting more interesting. It looks like the aqueduct might end, and there's a ravine down there. Another valve. Here you can see the gear, the valve, and the pipe. It looks like it would have been turned by a handle, maybe, like those other ones. But here's another pipe coming in, and it looks like a pipe is suspended above a ravine. The trail goes this way. Let's go see what this is all about. I have to confess, at first I thought hiking through that tick-infested area underneath the high-tension power lines, I was a little bit discouraged, wondering if this is going to be just some tick-infested slog through the middle of nowhere. But this is turning out to being fascinating. It's a little rivulet up there with a cascade, and here's the pipe that it's suspended above this I don't know what you call this little ravine here. No idea what this would have been for. There's another structure up ahead. Maybe that will yield more clues. Okay, so the aqueduct maybe doesn't end, but is transferred to this metal pipe. All right, adventure is afoot. We've come to this concrete structure where the trail abruptly ends at the side of a cliff. But what is this place? It looks like it's into the side of this cliff here, and this is a grate. There's cold air coming out. This must be coming out from a cave, and I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a sound of water in there. That's really chilly, so I have no doubt this is coming from a cave beyond these cliffs here. But again, so many questions. What is this place? What was it for? Let's continue on our adventure and see if we can find more clues. We're on a rock outcropping above the stream that feeds Aqueduct Falls. Again, I don't know the name of the stream, but just check this out. This is so peaceful, so beautiful. And what's more, we found some lady slipper orchids native to Pennsylvania in bloom. Check that out. So do you love it? Do you love exploring? Oh, you know, there's hardly anything else I would rather be doing. From the end of the aqueduct, we took a smaller trail, a more narrow trail up the hill. And once we got to the top of the hill, there was a more substantial trail. It was an old road, in fact, and we've reached a clearing. And this is one of the reasons we came. Didn't know exactly what it would look like, but here is the glorious Tilbury Knob. Let's get out here for a better picture. Wow. There's the gorge where Harvey's Creek runs. We'll pan left and we'll see the glorious Susquehanna and the town of West Nanticoke. Beautiful. What an adventure so far. We've encountered a huge wall of rocks formation. Unfortunately, it doesn't show up very well on account of the trees. This will be a cool thing to see in fall or winter time. But for your consideration, this is something to explore. And as always, we will mark the coordinates on the map at hemlockstateexplorer.com. We climbed the wall of rock and looked for some kind of path or trail, but we're unsuccessful in finding any at all. In fact, it was pretty thick mountain laurel and blueberry and other brush, and we were walking on some big rock slabs. It kind of reminded me of Bartlett Mountain, if you're familiar with that. That's on the to-do list. We were hoping for some views of Wilkes-Barre, but as we came down the trail, it opened up to the south and we got our views. Looks like a cleared area, not the most scenic area, yet there's some nice views of the Wyoming Valley nevertheless. We're on the south side of the mountain in the area of rehabilitated strip mines. This one's been filled in to form a lake, or a pond rather. And if we look to our right, it looks like we have a lot of old strip mines filled in. We'll see if we can find anything interesting. I've never been here before. I've been to plenty of mines, especially up in the Schuylkill County area, Carbon County area, and they are truly fascinating. Actually, strange to say, some of my more beloved hikes are up in the old coal country, the old anthracite fields of Carbon and Schuylkill County, where you can just go for miles and miles up on the old coal roads up in the mountains, and you can see the, I don't know, almost post-apocalyptic feel of these gigantic gashes down in the mountain. It's just something, you know, maybe not the most nature-y kind of adventure, but it is something different and it is fun, at least I think. So I don't know if we'll find that here. I'm thinking maybe not, because these strip mines have been rehabilitated. We've returned to the parking area and trailhead along Harvey's Creek. This was an adventure full of surprises with the abandoned valve house and the aqueduct. We weren't even sure what that was at first. And the wonderful view of the Susquehanna. That really, it wasn't a huge view in terms of wideness, but it really was majestic. I really like that. A few things to know before you go. There is a lot of traffic along the road, but as you can see, the parking area is generous, so that shouldn't be a problem. Also, the trails are not blazed at all, and it's not really a problem once you get to the top of the mountain and the south side, but the trails are quite easy to lose on the north side. And finally, be prepared for ticks. I wasn't tracking an exact mileage, but I would say it was in the neighborhood of 10 miles. And in that time, we pulled 24 ticks off. So just be prepared for that. But otherwise, it was a fantastic adventure. I would suggest, because of the ticks, maybe finding a different trailhead, because although the ticks didn't come exclusively from that power line cut, the vast majority did. So thanks for joining us once again with the Hemlock State Explorer, and we can't wait to see you on the next adventure.